Ah, yes. Sonic the Hedgehog. Whether you love him and or hate him, or regardless of what you think on his games, there is no denying that he's actually had an extreme impact on the video game industry in recent years. What I basically mean is he's one of the most important and basically one of the most iconic characters. But he's also important to the integrity of the video game industry, mainly because he actually invented the fast platforming, or well, not really invented the platformer, more so he revolutionized it in terms of, you know, gotta go fast and whatnot. I mean, this is the 90s we were talking about, of course, man. Come on. But of course, we're not talking about regular Sonic games. Oh no, that would be too easy. No, we're gonna delve into a different sort of thing. Oh dear lord. Do you guys like Sonic Racing games? Have you ever wondered how it would feel to control Sonic in a car? Well, have no fear, everyone, because Sonic Drift 1 and 2 on the Game Gear are here to entertain you, whether you like it or not. Yes, Sonic Racing games. Of course, it was obviously inevitable that a series about a character literally called the Blue Blur would get his own racing game series about himself driving in cars. And believe it or not, he's actually had quite a few. Like, Jesus Christ, oh my god, he's had quite a few. So of course I'm not going to be able to cover them all in one video, else I'll be here forever. And I don't think anyone wants that. So let's just stop stalling and let's just get into this, shall we, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the Sonic Racing Games Retrospective. Now, starting off this retrospective, we actually have two games to cover. Yes, two. Sonic Drift came out on March 18th, 1994, with the sequel coming out a year later, Sonic Drift 2. Now, why am I covering both of them at the same time? Well, they're basically essentially the same game, okay? But of course, they came out on the Game Gear. Now, of course, with this being a Game Gear game, some corners obviously had to be cut. For instance, the draw distance is a little strange in some ways, and the color palette is a little too, how should I say, similar, I guess, for courses, among other things. These two games weren't particularly well received by both critics and fans alike, writing it off as basically another attempt to not only rival Mario Kart, and on the Game Gear no less, but also they were just mediocre. They didn't control well. But hey, that seems like a green flag. Obviously that means these games are good, right? Right? Oh dear God, you have no idea. Now, as I stated earlier, while I did say that this game looks a bit similar in course design, as in every course is built basically the same, for a Game Gear game, it actually doesn't look half bad. It actually looks quite good, actually. Both this and Drift 2 look surprisingly good for the little handheld. It's probably one of the best looking games on the handheld. I'm surprised, to be honest. I mean, the tracks have their own backgrounds. I mean, I'll give them that. And the sprites look extremely well done, like, honest to God. I mean, I don't really have anything negative to say about the graphics, only that sometimes the tracks will feel a bit too similar to each other. As in, again, they basically look the same. Also that, and you know, basically the graphics.
Freaking epilepsy multiple times, so I can't even play this game for more than 5 freaking seconds or else I'm freaking play.
Because, oh my god, this game is colorful, like too colorful. Oh my, no. So let's just move on to the sound.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
This is happening!
Now, of course, everyone and their mother basically knows that if a Sonic game releases, it should obviously have a kick-ass soundtrack. And while I will say that this game is no exception, the soundtrack is just, I don't really like it. Like, it's catchy, don't get me wrong, it's really catchy, but like, there's just something about it I don't like. I think it's the pixelization of the Game Gear, you know, because it's a handheld console and whatnot, so certain sounds can't be performed, or like, if they come out of the speakers, they'll sound quite crunched and whatnot. I will give the second game credit, and I say the second game only. The options theme, and yes, that's literally what it's called, the options theme for when you start up the game is literally the best theme in the entire freaking world. Bless that theme, oh my god. But other than that, I mean, courses have their own themes. Sometimes they reuse the same song for different courses. It's not the game's fault, it's the hardware's fault. Just saying. But you know, the soundtrack's alright, okay? Now, of course, this means what could possibly go wrong when we're segueing into the next section. What the fuck am I looking at right now?
No stranger than rescuing genies in magic books or saving aliens in an interstellar amusement park. I'm more concerned about finding our friends.
What the fruit is this? This is obviously a video game, right? Of course, it's gotta be. A release on a console, a release on a video game console. Of course, it's a freaking video game. What am I looking at right now? Okay, enough exaggerating. In terms of the gameplay, it's actually quite alright. I only say alright. It's just alright, okay? It's called Sonic Drift for a reason. An obvious reason, of course, but guess what that means? It means we get to drift and drift. Oh, and more drifting. What kind of drifting is this? This is not drifting. This is basically fighting controls, which is very irritating. It is so freaking irritating, and because controls suck. Did I ever bring that up? No, they suck. They suck a lot. Even in the second game, they fucking suck. They didn't fix it, because they can't. Just try to keep on track for, oh my god, it's so irritating. Will you just stay on the track for 5 seconds? Like, oh my god, just no! Oh yeah, speaking of the tracks, they fucking suck. Like, they really do. They all feel the same to play on, and like, it's nothing's different. You know what I mean? It's other than a slight course overhaul. You know, other than that, basically the courses are the shite. It's just no. God, am I done? I think I'm done. Yeah, if you can't tell already, I am very split with these two games. This and its sequel, I mean, I know I said earlier I'll be covering one and only one, but I've grouped them both together because for the simple fact that they are basically the same game, just very extremely minor changes. Like, of course, the first one had 4 whole characters. I told you I could math, you know, of course we got Sonic, duh, Tails, Amy, and Robotnik. 4 whole characters. I can count, of course. And Sonic Drift 2 added Knuckles, obviously the god himself, Fang the Sniper, and Metal Sonic. But because Game Gear, it displays as M.Sonic, which gives me terrible PTSD to a game that will not be named. I think I made my point. Honestly, God, they aren't bad games. They're not the worst thing in the world, but they're not something to lose your mind over. Like, honest to God, I mean, they're all right games. They get the job done. I mean, for the first racing games to compete with the Mario Kart racing games, which is probably one of the worst things Sega could have possibly done, if you ask me, to be honest, because I mean, for one, they were rivaling Mario Kart on the Game Gear, which is probably one of the worst decisions you could have ever made in your entire career. But they did it anyway. The balls on Sega back then, dear Lord, have mercy on us all. But other than that, I mean, these are all okay games. If you look past the terrible controls, if you look past the drifting, as I mentioned, all that other sweet stuff, there are actually decent games buried beneath all that. And in my original script, I wanted to say that I would not see myself coming back to play these games, but in all honesty, every now and then when I'm feeling bored, I actually come back to play these games. I'm like, I actually enjoy this. Like, I really do. Honest to God, I do. They're okay games, like in short bursts. It's just that I can't play them for too long or else I'll go absolutely mad. So, there's that. And with that said, everyone, of course, that completes part 1 of the Sonic Racing Game Retrospective. Of course, I'm doing these in order, so you know what that means. Oh God, have mercy on us all.